Greetings, everyone. We're going to start the show here in a little bit. Just wanted to make sure we got on live at 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live. David and Clifford should be joining soon, and we'll bring in the Blog Talk Radio audience in about a minute and a half. So we've already got a couple folks watching, so that's good. We got about a minute to go until showtime, and so we have an important show. We're going to discuss the martial law that's in effect in Richmond, Virginia, and how that is handled by those who are living in the area. And I can tell you, I went out to walk Max, who's sitting right here beside me, after the state of emergency and martial law, the tactics were introduced, and nothing has changed. We'll get into that in about 30 seconds when we get the show really rolling on Blog Talk, and then we'll have David and Clifford joining us, God willing, and we're going to go live here. Greetings to the body of the people. This is a man called Chris Dorsey, and you're tuned into the Militia Intelligence Report. Tonight's episode: Virginia martial law, World War, government incorporated versus the people. So we're going to get right into reading the description for tonight's show, and hopefully David and Clifford will be joining us shortly. Again, Virginia martial law. Martial law was invoked today, and is the rule. It's actual. They put the fences up and the restrictions on lawfully carrying guns in on Capitol Square in downtown Richmond, Virginia. There's an emergency order banning this, which is unlawful, and it is a violation of a statute. You can't ban guns during a state of emergency in Virginia. So they did it. So that shows you the rules of the game at this point. It does not matter what lawfully and statutorily or legally one can do. That's out the window. So they're doing it, and it reminds me of the old thing, you used to hear back in high school and stuff like that. Well, if you say this, then the cops can't do that. And that's not how it works. Basically, the rules are the government incorporated does as it wishes. It violates the law, and no one stops them. So that's what we have here in Virginia. Current martial law. So I'm going to read a statement, and this is an important statement. And I'm very thankful to a number of different places using mostly the enemy's platform. I mean, almost exclusively the enemy's platform, which is social media, actual media. But where we stand is very clear about what's going on in Virginia, and if you want more specific answers, sorry, this is as specific as we're going to get when it comes to being clear about what's going on right now here in Virginia and what is planned for January 20th, 2020, which will be, not coincidentally, Martin Luther King Day. Not a good time for a pro-gun rally and especially not a good time after all of the, the purpose for the rally is allegedly to lobby, but all the legislation's already passed through. That most of the bad stuff is passed through, I should say. So, as you all are aware, I lawfully carry my firearm where I go. Wherever I am, I'm going to be exercising my God-given right. It's not very bright for me especially, but for anyone really to not arm themselves. It's a dangerous world out there, and it's been made dangerous by the government, by this system, the way it's set up, and by historical events. Meaning historical events, meaning two, drug dealers have a beef, and one of them kills the other, or the Civil War of the United States was a war of northern aggression, and it got rid of habeas corpus and all the protections under the common law, and instead of freeing the slaves, it made everybody a slave. So that's what I mean by history. Like, when I make a blanket statement, it doesn't matter whether you misinterpret it or not. What I'm saying is true, and it's not that I'm saying the true thing. It's just that I've thought about it. I'm speaking it, and then when folks come back to challenge, they're always they always have, if their challenge is in any way relevant, they have to misrepresent or make up what I'm saying. So here my words are careful. I carry a gun when I'm out in public because it's protected by the law, and that's what I do. And it's legal for anyone to do it if they're acting in a lawful manner, and I especially make it a point to exercise my right and also protect myself, being that I have been targeted for malicious attacks in the past. As have, a very large percentage of the population, but mine specifically coming from individuals working for the government, who are all criminals. So one thing is clear: we recommend to everyone that they exercise their God-given rights. They exercise their rights, and they do it responsibly. And they comprehend what the law is and what their purpose on earth and what the purpose of their God-given right and their constitutionally enumerated right to bear arms is. Make very sure you know what that means. That being said, I prefer to stay out on the outside of a trap because of the announcement from the corporation posing as the Virginia government. The people's property, the Virginia Capitol, has become an occupying, standing army base of operations. The Capitol Police and the Richmond Police, they're the ones on a ground level that are enforcing this, but there's so much more, as always, are working hand in glove with the Federal Reserve Bank Police. That's the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond Police. They are very active. Most of you watching this show might not know that, but you wouldn't be surprised about that. So the Federal Reserve Police and the State Capitol Police, it's like the same unit, basically. They work so closely together. And that unit includes the FBI, the Richmond office of the FBI, the DHS, Virginia State Police, and directed by Mossad, the UN, the Fed, BIS, etc. These institutions have planned for this very day, January 20th, 2020, so 2020, for decades. What is the emergency? Who are the extremists? Questions I ask. They are creations of the criminal corporation posing as the Virginia government. This government is abolished because it is acting in contradiction to its only mission. There is no purpose in lobbying one's servant to sell it back one's God-given rights in a location that those rights can be unlawfully stripped. So, I mean, that's so self-explanatory. We encourage all responsible people to exercise our God-given rights in a location that those rights... We encourage all responsible people to exercise our God-given, constitutionally enumerated rights in every corner of Virginia. Every day. Every day. We shall not take the chance by encouraging any people to walk inside what is a textbook trap. We urge the body of the people to operate lawfully outside of the martial law military perimeter at the Virginia State Capitol. We shall decode the treasonous scam every corporate government agency is playing on the people of Virginia. The government's only purpose is to protect the God-given rights of the people. When the government acts in contradiction to its only purpose, that government is abolished. I'm repeating that again because that is important. That's really the only thing that there is. When there's martial law and an emergency, and when we're asking what's the emergency, and it's some sort of made-up thing, and it's, even if it wasn't made up, it would not be an excuse to exercise martial law powers and turn the state capital of Virginia into a military base of operations with checkpoints going in and out of that. That's martial law. That's what they do in war zones because that is what this is now. They're telling you this. You are not allowed to carry around a gun according to them. And what are they going to use to make that so? Because they can, they tell you all sorts of things. But they're going to enforce that. You can't go to the government, the people's property. The Virginia state government is public property. It is unlawful to make restrictions on the right to bear arms inside of this area. And that goes for all public places. That goes for all public places in Virginia. Until now. I mean,
just like abolishing the government lawfully has nothing to do with whether or not we voted or not. It's the same thing with the right of self-protection. Just because a so-called state of emergency is declared, even if it's real, that has nothing to do with whether or not you can protect yourself, whether you have firearms or whether you do have some sort of weapon or sword.
Sure. Okay, so when we enter into a state of society, there are certain rights which cannot be taken away from us. That's the basis of any government. Nobody would agree to a government. You see, this is what they're doing. They have to pull these tricks. They have to say, "Oh, well, we're not taking people's rights away. We're protecting them because of a threat, and therefore state of emergency That's what martial law is. Now, I basically do what I can to cut through the nonsense that I hear from folks, because I made a post on social media saying martial law is in effect in Virginia, and people are like, how so? Well, they're calling it an emergency order, but how are they enforcing it? They're enforcing it with fences, checkpoints, and guns. Martial law, martial tactics, martial law. There you have it. I mean, you can say, like, hey, it's not really affecting us. I mean, I remember a few years ago when they had martial law in Baltimore after the alleged Freddie Gray riots, and now they shut down the turnstile getting into Camden Yards, and they had the first baseball game in the history of Major League Baseball with no people watching. They did all sorts of things, and hey, if you're in certain parts of the city, it's not really affecting you. They didn't apply it. They said, okay, we'll snatch people off the street if they're out past this part in this part of town, and in the other part of town here in Richmond, I mean, we won't even know that there's anybody, that there's an influx of folks coming into the city. That being said, we have to make it clear to everyone: don't walk into a trap. Don't go down there thinking that you're going to walk in through this checkpoint with a gun. We're encouraging people, like, unless you know what you're doing and that you are going down there to stand up for your rights, we say, like, hey, avoid the area, because this is looking like it is not going to be good, the outcome. And I really don't know what to say, except for I'd like to take callers to see if we've got any legitimate thing that's going on, because what I know about what's going on is what's in the news. When they say the ban is underway, I got the 4:00 news come on, and then the 5:00 news. The ban is underway. We announce it in real time. The state of emergency is in effect, and it will be in effect until Tuesday. So why don't they wait until Tuesday to have the armed rally at the Virginia State Capitol? I mean, the better question would be, why did they not have the gun rally before all of the gun legislation, the gun grab legislation passed? Why would you have it on Martin Luther King Day, when you know that they are going to try to associate your event with the event these same folks that I mentioned several minutes ago, all the alphabet agencies of the federal and Virginia federal government and the state government of Virginia? Why didn't you have it then? Before all this, before they could do the gun ban, they had to meet to ban to pass all these guns that contradict the Constitution, the emergency orders. Why did you give them time to do that? You knew it was coming the whole time. You knew who was doing it, and who's behind it. Phil Van Cleve. I mean, you probably know him from getting Borated, or Ali G, or whatever you call it. I guess the character was Aaron Murad or something like that. That allegedly they were getting into. Hey, we're gonna get. Hey, David, get ready. Get ready to give everybody a short leash on this. We got somebody unidentified, so we'll take it as it comes. But I think we're gonna pretty much be ready to. We'll see if they know how to act Hey, greetings, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The demons are going to be out.
Don't. Okay. Call back, caller. Call back. Yeah.
Chris, let's make this simple. Because see,
No more simple, man. You know, I mean, I screwed up because I hung up on the guy because I heard Cliff barge in and I heard it right as I unmuted the guy, and I just assumed that it was some guy just yelling, but it was Cliff just yelling. But anyway, that was my fault. My fault.
Integrity, he'll call back.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, caller. Please call back.
Yeah, no problem. Look, let's make this simple because it sure is a trap. I mean, like, okay, not only we're the only lawful.
Just go on with what you're gonna say, David. Like, just go ahead. Just go ahead. No preface.
Yeah.
Just go.
Again, we're giving you the intelligence. You're being led into a trap. I mean, how many times have you've watched a war movie? They said intelligence reports that the enemy is in that area and it's going to be an ambush. Don't walk into it. That's what you're walking into if you go on the Capitol grounds, with your firearm. It's nothing more and nothing less. I mean, again, this is tactics. Abraham Lincoln used under his suspension of habeas corpus, and it's the stranglehold of Abraham Lincoln's tactic, and many like him being implemented.
Okay, let's get back to this caller, David. David, let's get back to this caller.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like the same guy. So again, short leash on everybody.
Thank you for taking my call this time. I do appreciate it. I'm not a troll, sir, believe me. I take this subject very seriously.
Oh yeah, well yeah. That's apologies. Go ahead. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Sarge, I'm calling from Georgia.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm a three-war combat veteran. I served 5 years on active duty and another 25 in the Illinois National Guard. I'm a veteran of Vietnam, infantry and armor. Served in the Gulf War in the National Guard and got called up for Operation Iraqi Freedom. I was in the military police unit for most of my National Guard career, and I'm a retired Illinois state policeman. So I have some idea of what this may be all about. Now, I think Governor Northam and the Democrats in Virginia are tyrants. Nothing more, nothing less. They're the same sort of people that the Minutemen turned out against in Lexington, Concord in April of 1775. I don't see much difference at all between them whatsoever. I am in complete accord with everyone who is going to oppose them. The only thing I have a bit of a problem with is when you use the term martial law carelessly. Because martial law, the imposition of martial law requires that this Constitution itself be suspended.
The Constitution's already suspended. You should hold on a sec, caller. Caller, I'm going to take the floor back. Caller, I'm taking the floor back. Martial law is already the Constitution is gone. It's finished. There is no Constitution, and somebody who's serving as long as you should know about continuity of operations and continuity of government. All the police know about this. They have special plans that are laid out. This is all part of UN Agenda 21, and this is classic textbook martial law, using military tactics to close down public space, especially when it is so obvious that this space is to be used for the most important authority that the people are given under the Constitution, and that's the right to bear arms, and not just the right to bear arms, but the militia power, which is the power to control the weapons of war. We've gone way beyond this, and I appreciate your call, sir, but the institutions that you've served throughout your life.
I mean, I agree with you on that completely.
Right.
I don't have any disagreement there. My only question to you is this: have the civilian courts been suspended? Have they been shut down? And are military tribunals now in effect?
I believe, of course, the common law has been shut down.
But in actuality, you must have a suspension of habeas corpus. You must have a suspension of the Supreme Court.
It's done. It's done. I have experienced all of those things personally. Right. I've experienced all of those things personally.
Of so-called military tribunals. I mean, again.
Hold on, David. Hold on.
David, let Chris address that.
Okay. So there are gold fringes around all of the military flags in every courtroom and every government building around the United States of America. That is not a common law court. That is a military maritime court. It is not common law. It is not a regular civilian court. It's not based in anything constitutional. It's not based on the law of the land. It's based on the law of the sea. So we do have all of those things. We have martial law is in effect, and this is just something to the point where we can't refute it. And I would like to say one more thing just to go back. It's not just the Democrats, the Republicans are involved in this as well. And when they so overtly rigged this last Virginia election, and all the Republicans, just like whenever the Republicans rig it, the Democrats keep their mouth shut, and the Republicans do it when they're on the losing side as well. So this is all rigged, and it's been rigged by the police, and it's been rigged by the United States military, and there are no good guys in the government. And this is bad news, and we've been seeing it coming.
For a moment, the issue of whether or not martial law has actually been imposed, but I would like to go back to the idea of...
We've already established that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Caller.
I'd just like to remind the governor...
But hey, caller, you're not going to remind anybody anything until I give you the floor back.
The British tried to make an exercise in gun control. That was the catalyst that set off the American Revolution.
Right.
I don't know what history these people decided to ignore.
But they're doing this on purpose. And hold on, caller. Hold on. Caller. We use parliamentary procedure. I mean, do you think you can just come on this show and just diarrhea whatever you think all over the place? I mean, here's the thing.
I didn't know you were speaking. I didn't hear you.
Well, I was... Okay, that's all right. That being said, all of this has been planned, and it's planned by all sides, and I'm surprised that you don't know about it, and I'm not sure that you don't. You haven't addressed continuity of government. All the police everywhere know about continuity of government, and all the military know about it as well, and they know that the government has been abolished. And we're not talking about civil war, we're talking about arresting people for treason. And you know who's failed every step of the way? All the institutions that you have worked for throughout your career, allegedly, because I don't know you.
So, Chris, do you mind if I dissect the sort of propaganda we're getting from this caller?
Well, I mean, after he answers, if he would like.
So, David, you have him muted, unmute him, so let him in. Okay, now what is the question again?
That I believe you've got to know, after working for all the institutions, if you and I'm not doubting you, I just don't know you. I don't, I only know things I can verify, but presuming that's true, and I believe it is, but I don't know for certain, you would have to know about continuity of government. You would have to know that this is all a setup, and this is part of UN Agenda 21, and continuity of government, and continuity of operations, and everyone in the military, and everyone in the police, they know about that. And they are planning. They have plans and are ready to carry out war against the people, and that there aren't any constitutional sheriffs, and that everybody knows in the military that they're acting outside of the Constitution, and that they're committing treason. The police. I'm talking about the police and the military.
I have to admit that I am
This is I'm talking about federal law, continuity of operations.
That have declared their counties sanctuary counties, and I have a sense of what is going on, and I'm not familiar enough with the laws of the state of Virginia to be able to intelligently comment on them. I am extremely familiar with the laws of the state of Illinois with regard to martial law, state martial law, with regard to states of emergency and gubernatorial proclamation. But I can't speak to what goes on in Virginia, nor would I attempt to. What I have seen in Virginia with regard to proposed gun legislation, and I am favorably impressed by the reaction of the sheriffs to it, and that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge. So
All right.
claim to be knowledgeable in political situations.
You're dodging the question, because when I'm talking about continuity of government and continuity of operations, I'm talking about a Department of Homeland Security federal directive run by FEMA, which is on top of your state police, which is on top of the Virginia State Police, which is on top of everything, every element in the government. Every element of the government is subservient to this DHS, FEMA, continuity of operations, Homeland Security, executive directive. Are you unaware of that?
I know that the Department of Homeland Security can take some measures in certain situations. Yes.
Whoa. Why you BSing me, man? Why you BSing me? I know if you're a cop, you're.
I understand the principle of continuity of government.
I'm not talking about the principle. I'm talking about the specific.
The government has procedures to allow continuity.
And that's what's happening here.
That's all continuity of government means.
Really? Well, then why didn't you say so?
In the event of a catastrophe.
What catastrophe? Civil unrest created by the police.
I'm not a conspirator. I don't know.
You are a conspirator, though. You are, though. You have dedicated your professional career to carrying out treason against the American people.
Wait a minute, so now you're accusing me of being a traitor?
Well, you're a cop, aren't you? No. Treason.
Essentially accusing me of being a traitor.
I mean,
I have fidelity to the Constitution, sir. I've taken an oath to the Constitution to uphold the defendant 8 times in my life. When I re-enlisted, and when I enlisted, and as a police.
hey man, listen.
I believe in the Constitution, I do.
But you do everything to destroy it. We've already established there are no constitution. I've got the floor. You're gonna listen to me. Hey, listen to me. Do you understand what Robert's Rules of Order is?
I just asked the question.
No, you don't. Do you understand what Robert's Rules of Order is? Do you understand what Robert's Rules of Order is? Do you understand parliamentary procedure?
Yes.
Have you been told that we are operating under parliamentary procedure, and yet you ignore it and you start BSing? You start spewing out nonsense. We've already established. Listen, I have the floor. Okay. What you do, and what everybody who swears an oath to uphold the Constitution is, you do the opposite of that. There are no constitutional courts in the United States of America. So when you're a cop and you drag people into court, what you're doing is you're violating the Constitution and you're carrying out war against the people. That's treason. And what you do when you're in the military, I've got the floor. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind, dude? I've got the floor. But you don't have the floor. You're not recognized. You are not recognized. You're not recognized. You're not recognized. I'm going to finish my thought. I have the floor. You don't have the floor. And when you go out and you take orders from unconstitutional, treasonous politicians and commanding officers, you're again carrying out treason. Do you disagree? You can talk now. How so? How so? Just because you don't like it? Just because you don't like what is being said?
No, it's defined in the Constitution if you read it.
Have you read it? Do you think you know more about the Constitution than me?
You have not yet ascribed to me. Aid and comfort to the enemy of the United
No. You are the enemy. It's also carrying out war against the people. Waging war against the United States. What's the United States? Who ordains the United States? The people. You are waging war against the people. You can unmute him. You can unmute him. He is waging.
I understand this as a general idea.
No. It's not a general idea. It's an exact fact. It is not a general idea. It is an exact fact. It is not a general idea. It is an exact fact.
Okay, so if a police officer arrests someone for armed robbery, is that police officer committing treason? With probable cause, or on warrant, affidavit, or other circumstance that allows him to make the arrest legally? Is he committing treason by arresting a criminal?
He's committing treason by the treason he's committing. It doesn't mean that he's committing treason in every action that he takes. But when he is bringing people into a court, or this, when a police officer is framing someone and they use this kangaroo court system that we have, that is treason. And that happens a lot more than some hypothetical bank robber. Give me a break. Unmute the guy. I mean, you know, I will mute and unmute him, but this guy, we're not going to spend that much more time with him.
I'm not hypothetical. I'm an individual human being. Are you accusing me of having very long?
Man, hold on. Yeah, we gave you a long leash, man. I didn't make, you know, any sort of accusations against you that you would have to question. I made my direct accusation. So let him respond, and then we're gonna move on. So my accusation is direct.
I'm an individual human being who serves my country and my community. I believe honorably, and I'm saying that since I'm not hypothetical, I reject the idea that I frame anyone in my career.
Well, you couldn't possibly have not framed anyone. Hey, did you ever give a speeding ticket? Did you ever give a speeding ticket?
Yes.
Okay, you framed people. You pulled them over, treason. You pulled them over, and armed robbery. You're talking about an armed robber. That's all you do is armed robbery. So don't give me that BS. All right. Thanks, caller. God bless. Repent for your sins. Quit carrying out treason. All right. God bless. Yep. So, hey, that was fun. So these guys.
I want to get into breaking down the tactics.
Let's go. Go ahead, Cliff. Go ahead, Cliff. Because like that's fine because it's.
This guy calls in, and he of course puts the partisan mind control. Oh, the Democrats are tyrants.
Right.
What? Red flag number one.
Red flag number one.
Dodges question after question. Red flag number 2 and 3. He couldn't give a straight answer. I mean, of course, the red flag being his alleged resume of his treason. Okay, that's a big red flag. If someone gives that kind of resume and does not immediately repent and say, I wasn't aware of how much crime I was committing, but now I do and I wish to make amends, you can't trust him. And he was so dishonest. And I just wanted to really break that down for people watching, that if anyone was fooled by that. But yeah, that when I see it, I just want to get to it, break it down, and toss them out. I really don't want to. I don't even want to give them a chance to answer because I know it's going to be garbage. But that might be the Aries in me being a little too impulsive and boorish. But anyway, let's continue. Let's move on.
Well, yeah, let's move on and reiterate that every time a cop gives you a speeding ticket or a road violation or some other offense that is, you have not committed a crime, you have not harmed anyone else, that is armed robbery. It is armed extortion. Just because they're wearing a uniform and write it on a Scantron piece of paper that's a different color than white, it doesn't mean jack. So this guy was who knows what's going on with that guy, but let's get back to.
Hey, Chris?
Yeah, go ahead, David.
Before we move on, I documented some censorship we've been having, and I sent it to you in emails. But that's expected because with this event coming up, they're going to want to. They're doing everything they can to hide anything that any real militia members are stating, because again, we can't stress enough that they want you to believe that anything militia is associated with Republicans, and that's simply not true. The right of self-protection has nothing to do with whether or not you support a Republican candidate or not.
Right. Well, we know all the elections are freaking rigged. And that was another thing this guy and none of the Republicans wish to touch. I've known this since I was involved in politics, and I started seeing these things, and it was Democrats, when I was a member of the Democratic Party, that were getting shafted. I remember the Kerry Bush election. And, yeah, John Kerry sucks, obviously. But that doesn't mean that the election wasn't rigged against him, because it certainly was. It most certainly was. And what did the Democrats do about that? Kept their mouths shut. Do you guys remember when there was all that proof of outrageous election rigging in Ohio? Outrageous! And not one of the tyrannical Democrat senators, I should say, not one of them said, "Oh yeah, our side lost, and we lost because it was rigged. So yeah, we're gonna investigate this." No, they were like, "Oh no, yeah, we lost. Yeah, it was rigged, but move on. Don't worry about it." Oh, we know you went out to vote, and that wasn't your intention, America, but don't worry about it. So when the Democrats, and I don't even want to say the Democrats rigged it. When it was rigged for the Democrats, I'm not going to say the Democrats rigged it. When it was rigged at a higher level than any Democrats or Republicans, the Republicans say, "Oh yeah, hey, here's what they're going to do. They're going to take away your rights, and it's going to be because the election's rigged, and because we can't do it any other way. And don't worry, because we got all these Second Amendment sanctuaries to where 98% of the Commonwealth of Virginia is a Second Amendment sanctuary." Okay, so basically, what is it? That we're just going to ignore the laws coming down from the state government? Oh, well, no, you won't ignore it, and it doesn't have any legal standing, and we're going to follow the orders from the legislature, but hey, we got you all to waste your time and go to local government meetings and engage and make these politicians look good and make these constitutional sheriffs look good, even though they have no intention but to restrict your right to bear arms. They want you to license it. I saw a story last week where the Jew, quote unquote, I should say quote unquote, the Khazarian fake Jew, Synagogue of Satan member, chief of police for Chesterfield County, Virginia, they're lowering the cost to get a concealed carry license, and they ran a news story about it. They hardly ever run any pro-gun stories, but they're like, hey, we've got a lot of people that are signing up to get a license to carry a gun. This is Virginia. You don't need a license to carry a gun. This is an open carry state. But what they wish to do is to take away your right and then sell it back to you if they feel that they wish to. And maybe not. If they don't like you. For whatever reason. So that's what we have going on here in Virginia. You know, they're doing these little tactics to make it clear that you're not in control of your God-given rights. And if one does not realize that's everything that the military does, that's everything that so-called law enforcement does, and what I don't get, what I don't comprehend is, like, I'll tell you what the red flag for me with that caller was, David and Clifford, and that was this guy with his thrusts and then parries. You know, he's like, hey, I got a big problem with people calling something martial law when it's not martial law. I'm an MP in the military. I'm a state police officer. I did combat, blah, blah, blah. Martial law. Martial law is a military shutdown using military power, guns, deadly force, barricades, checkpoints. That's martial law. I mean, the state capitol, I mean, I don't ever go anywhere in Virginia. Go ahead.
If I can elucidate that analogy, his thrust and remises, as someone who did fencing.
Oh, thanks. Hey, yeah, thanks.
It's not really martial law. You parry and you riposte with saying, no, it's exactly martial law, and martial law has been in effect for a while. This is just an escalation. And instead of responding to that, he just attempts to thrust or remise, keep his attack, and without addressing the obvious fact that martial law is in effect and he was an essential part in enforcing it and setting it up.
Right. Yeah, that you used the correct terminology, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. That is exactly what the key factor is here. So let's get into this base thing. Y'all want to talk about base, the base? Cliff, David, you got, I mean, I've been talking about the base for a couple days. Clifford and David and I talked about it.
As far as my interest, the thing I would like to talk about, but I think it's less important, is the ritual that is the kangaroo court of the criminal Donald Trump's impeachment hearing or the trial. I want to get into sort of the synchronicity and the cult sort of thing for that, but let's get into the base first because it'll be a good.
Okay, that's a little teaser for impeachment, because we are going to have some impeachment talk. We can't resist, because like all the stuff that they're talking about now is what we were talking about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So we'll take a little victory lap on our predictions for Trump. And again, not because we're so smart, just because like all this stuff is just really obvious. Yeah, go ahead, David. Were you just saying something?
Oh, well, what I would say is that considering that it's going to be on Martin Luther King Day, let's not forget that that in a way, Martin Luther King led his so-called followers into traps as well. If you remember all those newsreels where he led them into, we see the fire hoses and them beating him, and beating the marchers, and again we'll probably expect similar on Monday if people.
Yeah, I don't expect fire hoses at that place. I mean, I don't know what to expect, and I don't want to jinx myself or act as if I'm too confident, because I may avoid. I haven't decided, and I certainly am not going to tell the public, my plans for that day, because I'm getting all sorts of crazy phone calls and folks that I don't know contacting me, and I'm just basically saying, look, I don't have anything to do with the organizing of this. We have told people, stay away, don't go inside that area, don't go inside that trap. And I'll tell you, I'm not certain, but I want to be real about it. I don't think we're gonna get I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think we're going to get the actions like Charlottesville. One thing that I do want to say that David reminded me of, not only is there a gun ban, but there's a no-fly zone over the state capitol and downtown Richmond because the government is worried about the people weaponizing drones, which is the biggest laugh of all, considering we're seeing all these stories about taxpayer money going to drones to every single state and local police force, I should say, cops, whatever you want to call it, because police is something that's a verb. It's not a vocation. It's an action. But whatever they're doing to you, they're going to accuse you of planning on doing it to them. And they've got these weaponized drones out there that quote unquote police are using. So they seem afraid, and basically this is what it all boils down to. And this was what I was saying earlier. It's not just our right to bear arms. It is the right of the body of the people to control the weapons of war. These elections, you don't have any control because you voted in an election. Your votes don't count. You don't even know how this system works. You don't even know how you're getting scammed. I mean, I would presume most of the listeners to this do, but if one is voting, they don't have any idea, and there's no control through voting. The only thing we gain through voting is less or more attacks on our rights. That's the only thing we get out of voting. We don't get more rights. We don't get more money. We don't get less taxes. We don't get better food. We don't get cleaner water. We get dirtier water. We get more polluted air. We get more targeting from the government. We don't get more freedom. We never get any of that. Why would we vote to make our lives worse? Oh, it's rigged, and we're not actually voting against our own best interest? It's just rigged that way? Okay, well, that's a better explanation. But we don't get any benefit out of this voting thing. You're crazy if you vote. And when I voted, I was crazy. I believed things even though I knew them not to be true. That's how crazy one would have to be, and I'll explain that. I mean, if anybody knows anything about the current electoral system and the current voting system, and they think that elections are not manipulated, one is crazy if they believe that. Everybody knows that. My mother is an ardent voter. I presume she still votes in every primary and every election. She knows that the elections are rigged. She knows. Everybody else I know who votes knows that they're rigged, will admit that they're rigged, and will do some sort of mental gymnastics in order to keep voting. All right, we got another caller calling in. Let's see. Short leash. Well, I mean, hey, maybe it's somebody who's legitimate. I mean, there's maybe a 1 in a million chance. Maybe this is a 1 in a million call. Hey, caller. Greetings, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing? I didn't press 1, but I'll go ahead and talk. I'm Joe from North Carolina.
Okay, hey, greetings, Joe. Yeah, hey, you don't have to say anything if you wanted to just stay on the line, but yeah, if you feel like you wish to say something, you've got the floor.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. All right, well, Yeah, you know, we were just getting back on topic about rigged elections. That this is a result of a rigged election, and it's not something that only the Democrats do or only the Republicans do. It's bipartisan, and it's at a much higher level. And you know, when we talk about what's going on with guns in Virginia, you got to talk about the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond, and you got to talk about the Federal Reserve Bank Police and how they work with the FBI to infiltrate all these groups that are going to be going down. And they, you know, infiltrate, when I say infiltrate, direct is a better word. Direct is a better word when discussing how these operations are going. So I guess you want to move. Y'all wish to. Oh, we were going to talk about the base. Okay, so here's the quick decode. Obviously, everyone who's listening to this program probably knows, and I'm not meaning to shame you if you don't. The base is mockery. The government is mocking you because they created Al-Qaeda, which is translated as the database. It's translated from Arabic. Is that correct? Arabic translation of Al-Qaeda is the database or the base. Cliff just dropped. I hope Cliff will call back.
Chris, usually anything with the letters AL in front of it is usually Arabic. That's what I personally know.
Okay, so yeah, it's Arabic, and so now we have the you know, the white, you know, quote unquote white guy version of Al-Qaeda, known as the base. We had here's the thing. Let's get specific about who was arrested. There were 3 arrested in Georgia today, and I can tell you these guys are like Clifford said. These guys are LARPers. These guys. I mean, maybe some of them are serious. I mean, you know, you hear stuff about them. Okay. FBI arrests 3 more members of right-wing extremist group, The Base. Oh, here's something. Here's something in the Slate is reporting. Neo-Nazis, and this is from an hour ago, allegedly discussed opening fire at Virginia's pro-gun rally slated for Monday. I don't believe that. Okay, so this is Slate reporting based on Wall Street Journal reporting. Okay, 3 suspected white supremacists who were arrested Thursday in Maryland had discussed opening fire from the pro-gun rally that will take place in Virginia this coming Monday, according to the Wall Street Journal. Law enforcement officials on Friday said that the men had allegedly been planning to sow chaos and further their goal of accelerating the downfall of the U.S. government so a white ethno-state can take its place. Okay. All right. So that's what they're saying. I'm calling BS on all of this. On all of it. Okay. So who's doing this? Some guy that got kicked out of the Canadian Army and some freaking 19-year-old kid and some 33-year-old dude who, and the proof from this is that they went to a freaking gun range and had what? Ammunition? Okay. So what? Okay. What did they say? Accelerating the downfall of the U.S. government so a white ethno-state can take its place? I mean, have you been to Richmond? I mean, you need a lot more ammo than that. I mean, a white ethno-state. Okay. I don't think that's happening, guys. Sorry. Let's see. It was also reported...
Can I say something, please?
Yeah, go for it.
I spoke
Uh-huh.
Yes, they do have a gun ban there. They have a gun ban.
Certainly.
You're not allowed to carry any type of anything that resembles a weapon, stick or anything.
Right.
You'll be arrested,
Sure.
detained, or whatever the heck they want to call it nowadays.
Right.
And kidnapped, or that's what I call it.
Sure.
And I asked him, I said, what right under, or what, where do you see, how is that constitutionally lawful
Mm-hmm.
to arrest somebody or to infringe on their Second Amendment rights? What's the state of emergency? Is there bad weather or something? I mean, how do you define state of emergency? And she did not want to answer my question at all. He then directed, of course, passed the buck down to someone else, where I ended up getting a voicemail.
Right.
So, this they do have a state of emergency there. What I'm trying to say is that, where do you draw the line here? I mean, this is obviously, I mean, they haven't passed anything yet. Nothing's into effect yet, except for the state of emergency. So no laws have been passed, no confiscation, no nothing. Nothing has been passed actually yet. But what is this? A game that they're playing, a game of chess without cause? I mean, where they're trying to get people entangled into some sort of fighting with each other. So this way here, they can really have a state of emergency and pull in the National Guard, brainwashed zombies who think they have to obey the governor's order and the president's order, to violate our constitutional rights. What's the deal? I mean, what do you think?
I think that could be an aspect. I mean, I think it could be just an aspect of getting a bunch of people down there and getting them all worked up, and that maybe nothing will happen, and that folks will do like they did in Charlottesville and come back after the fact and target them for laws that they have already passed in this session or that they're going to pass in the future. I mean, I think it's a trap. Like when they set up a trap for people, it's like how does a fish net catch a fish? It's different ways it catches it. Sometimes there's so many fish in it then that the fish don't get caught by the net, they get caught by the other fish. So it's like whatever it is.
I also spoke to the NRA today. And they were unaware of any type of event happening on the 20th. As a matter of fact, the Capitol Police female one that I spoke to said, like, the Capitol's closed on Monday. There's nothing going on. And then I spoke to a woman who connected me to her, who was a tour guide, said, yes, their tour is still going on in the Capitol on Monday. Maybe she was just delusional, I don't know. But, it's just misinformation out there.
Well,
I mean, what's really going on? The NRA says they have no knowledge of any type of event going on Monday.
They're lying. I mean, everybody knows. Everybody knows that there's an event coming to Richmond on Monday. Everybody knows. I mean, it's it's on the news. They're telling people on the news here locally to avoid downtown. They're saying avoid downtown. This road's going to be closed. This road's going to be closed. That road's going to be closed. They're barricading the place up. And this is not the first time we've seen this. I mean, I've been down to the state capitol, I don't know, armed, unarmed, working in different capacities. But, I mean, and not for the government, working as a independent contractor in the role of television production, i.e. News. There's a satellite studio on the grounds of the Virginia State Capitol. So I go down there to work and give my opinion on geopolitical matters. But what I know about what's going on is that this is being directed by the State Capitol Police, and that they've had this plan for a very long time, and that you shouldn't trust anything coming out of anybody's mouth if they work for the freaking NRA or they work for the Virginia State Capitol Police.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of misinformation being promoted here by a lot of people that we should not trust. Yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
Trust me, I've been talking to a lot of people, and everyone knows that there's supposed to be an event going on the 20th and everything. And what I'm trying to say is that I know nobody can say what someone else can do, or what they should do. But we go there, okay, and where do we draw the line in the sand here? I mean, what's this? I mean, what do we say? Enough is enough. You know, the hell with it. Let's do what we got to do. And, you know, or do we say, let's lay down and, you know what, be like the NRA. Well, we filed a lawsuit, like they told me.
But that's what they're doing.
Therefore, we just got to wait, you know, and stuff like that. I mean, well, you know, what's going on here?
Well,
You know?
I'll tell you, I view this, I view it very simply. Okay, so they say that they're showing us that they're putting up a military barricade around the state capitol. So number one, that's telling us, you know, telling me that they view the people as some sort of threat. So we ask, what's the threat? Well, yeah, but let's keep it even more simple than that. We'll keep it more giving them the benefit of the doubt, which I don't give them any benefit of the doubt, but let's just go down that line. So we're told some sort of dangerous threat. I don't want to go down, you know, if there's some sort of dangerous threat. What is that dangerous threat? I mean, you know, speaking out about any subject is dangerous, you know, whether folks know it or not. I mean, so they say, we'll tell you later, but it's credible. And then you see the threat, and it doesn't seem to be that credible. It doesn't seem to, they don't seem to show any kind of proof of what's going on. We can segue this with the impeachment thing where they're talking about the surveillance on the Ukrainian ambassador and them saying, oh yeah, it's just, you know, two idiots, you know, jibber jabbering back and forth. They didn't mean anything. There wasn't any surveillance. They were joking around, talking big, whatever. But these guys, and I can tell you, the three that they arrested today, as far as our organization, which we don't really, you know, limit ourselves to the militia anymore. We're the militia commanders because of the, you know, the common law definitions and understanding under the law of all these things. But we say the people of God, and one of our rules is basically we don't have any rules that you have to have a certain, you know, background or have a certain belief system. I mean, you do have to have a certain belief system, but one thing we say is nobody could ever be a part of our group unless they're over the age of 26 years old. So today, all the individuals that were arrested that were members of this organization called the BIS, they were all under the age of 25 years old. And I can tell you that is, you know, we don't, it's just like, don't have anything to do with these young people trying to act freaking crazy or tough or anything. I mean, I've gotten contacted by so many folks coming up to this point saying like, I'd like to see them try to take my guns. And as someone who's actually been targeted unlawfully by the police and had my guns taken, I can tell you, you know, I don't ever try to resist or stand up or do anything like that because I don't want to end up dead. And these guys, they don't have any idea of what they're up against. They don't have any idea that there are no constitutional sheriffs. They don't have any idea that they're being...
No, that's not. You're absolutely right. I agree with what you're saying, absolutely correct. But when you said those same words there about the corporation and the Federal Reserve, I've been preaching that for years. You know, and the corporation, you know, we're not really under the Constitution anymore. We don't have any constitutional right. That was gone after the, you know, the Acts of 1871. And then, you know, the Federal Reserve hijacked our monetary system in 1913, bankrupted us by 29, and, you know, and then you go to 1933 and readdressed it in, what, 74, I think it was? I don't know. But, you know, the thing of it is, yeah, these people are all corporate actors. It's all phony. It's all a nonsense. And these politicians are there only to think that we have a voice or something to say. And these zombies out there actually believe it. That's why they run to the polls. You know, they run and vote. You know, they think Trump's going to save the world. And, you know, or the Democrats think that the evil state is a big game. And the Federal Reserve is sitting back laughing. You know, I understand. I get all that. But the thing of it is that, like I said, how much more do the people out there that we're the people that are awake to understand what's going on?
Well, that's what I'm talking about, Joe. That's what I'm talking about.
My door in the middle of the night, you know.
Well,
Joe, that was a great point, Chris. I want you to respond.
Yeah.
I want to segue into the 16th Amendment since we brought up the Federal Reserve and why Trump trial started on the 16th day of the year and the mockery and the synchronicity. But Chris, respond.
Hey, yeah, I'm seeing 16 on my screen now too. That's funny. But and 707 and 540 callers, we'll get to you in just a minute. So we're gonna go over. What do we do? Okay. Here's what I do in all cases. I do whatever is the most expedient and most strategic. At whatever given time. So they tell us, hey, they telegraphed it. Even before they announced this thing, even before the judge upheld the rule, we said, don't go down inside there with a gun. Don't walk into a trap. And that's what we say. Hey, stay outside of the area where they have cordoned everything off, where you have no rights at all. Where they say, hey, this is the area where you have no rights. Okay. So all these areas, we still have rights? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with that 100%, but what, just play devil's advocate here. What if 15, 25,000, if not to do harm, not to exit violence, we show up with our guns on our side? What if?
Well, that's going to happen, Joe. Joe, hold on. That's going to happen. Joe, 15, I mean, I could be wrong. I have folks that are saying, oh, I think it's going to be 1,000. They're talking about 50,000 on the news. So yeah, I think that is likely to happen. What I can say is the only thing is we have every other place in the city of Richmond and the whole Commonwealth of Virginia to gather with our guns and our message. So why would anybody think about going into the one area where it is militarized and hardened, and they tell you that you will be arrested if you do that? It's simple. I'm not very smart, so I like to keep everything simple. So, hey, I mean, it's the common law. I operate under the common law. I don't bother anybody. Nobody bothers me. I mean, that's, as far as doing harm, trespassing, I don't trespass against anybody. Nobody trespasses against me. So, if somebody does trespass against me, my general demeanor, knowing that, it depends on the situation, but I read and follow what Sun Tzu says in The Art of War. So I apply that to every sort of situation. This is not a situation where we can win, or the winning is just maintaining and exercising your right that day when it's under attack. Because I can tell you, I'm contacted by all sorts of individuals saying, hey, we're coming in from out of state. Where can we meet up? What can we... I'm like, man, I don't even know you. What do you guys think this is going to be? What I think is it's going to be... They've already got CNN down there. There's going to be cameras everywhere. The police and the government, they have something planned. Something that's going to be a surprise. That there's going to be some sort of disturbance that day. And that's my guess. I could be wrong. And, avoid it. What's my goal every day? Stay alive. That's the first step. Stay alive and, act lawfully. So beyond that, I don't know what to say. I'm not going to walk into any sort of situation. I'm not going to be the one running towards, running towards the chaos. I'll be down there, maybe. More than likely, I'll be somewhere in the city of Richmond, and I'll be watching the proceedings, but I don't trust all these folks coming in. I don't trust any of them. I don't know any of these folks. They're coming in from all over the country. Who knows what they have planned? I don't. The police do. And they're not letting us know.
I agree.
So,
I agree with 100%. I agree 100% with what you're saying. And like I said, I've been a voice on that platform also. I do my own podcast show. Like I said, that's why I was brought up the NRA thing. I put them on the spot. I called these politicians today.
oh, nice.
What I'm trying to say is that I wasn't trying to put you on a spot.
Oh, no, I don't mind. I don't.
Just using scenarios as to what other people, you know what I mean?
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's a question we all have to ask. Yeah, Joe, I agree. It's a question we all have to ask, and that's my ultimate answer, because, I don't have all the answers, and I don't have, not even close. So when that comes, you have to stand by certain principles, and that is, man, be careful. I mean, be careful. I mean, all the times I've ever gotten myself in trouble, it's been because of a lack of that. Yeah, let's go to another caller, 707, and then we'll get more into.
That up. We had somebody drop, but yeah, continue, Chris.
Okay, so we
want to hear from other people.
Yeah. Sorry, caller. Sorry it took so long, caller. Call back. I just brought on 707 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Kyle. I'm from Northern California.
Hey, greetings, Kyle. Yeah, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, everybody's saying that this rally in Virginia is a trap, and I believe that to be true. They're trying to bring what they call the alt-right, or the militias. They're trying to bring them to the surface.
Hold on a second. Whoa. Kyle, hold on a second. Yeah, the alt-right and the militia and folks calling themselves the militia, there's only one militia, and that's the entire body of the people. Now, the alt-right is something completely separate from that. So, just to define it. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I understand that, but
yeah.
But the way they portray it, especially on whatever news corporation you choose to watch, the way they portray it is they try and put the militia and the alt-right and white supremacists all in one.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, you're 100% right. I agree.
That every citizen aged 16 to 68 is a member of the state militia.
Right. I've seen it defined as 18 to 45, but yeah, just in general, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's definitely what they're doing. I mean, and I'm glad you brought that point up, because I wish to, tell everyone happy Lee Jackson Day, because it will be the last one, more than likely, recognized here in Virginia. We've celebrated that holiday for over 100 years here in Virginia, and it will be the last one. So this is bringing up the confluence of self-protection, alleged white supremacy, and that's why I had a big problem with them scheduling this event on Martin Luther King Day. Not only because it came too late in the session. If you really were trying to lobby this body, you would have had to do it the first day of the session, and the General Assembly has been going on for a few weeks now. And so it's too late, number one, and number two, it's going to have a negative consequence, and it's going to be portrayed as white racists, alt-right, like Charlottesville, and when they're justifying all of these gun grabs, when they're justifying all of these hate speech laws, they're constantly referencing that they're doing this because Charlottesville, and we all know that Charlottesville was a setup, that all the organizers from David Duke, name some of them, I mean Kessler, they're all working for the intelligence agencies. They're either assets from being compromised, or they are just getting a paycheck. One of my sources tells me that Jason Kessler is living in Northern Virginia now, and he runs a moving company. So more 9/11 mockery there, urban movers reference. So that's what was going on this whole time. That the same folks set this up. I've confronted them on this. Brian Moran, he had a lot to do with setting up the Charlottesville nonsense. I mean, I've seen them come into Richmond with an outside source, a small DHS little skeleton crew of about 12 to 15 demonstrators, and that they have tried to ban guns on city streets in Richmond for an entire day. And I was the only one that I knew that called up the judges and police and gave them a warning saying, hey, you guys can't do that, so don't even try. Yeah, I agree, caller. Stay on the line. I'm going to go to a 386 caller. He'll be up in just a sec, or they will be up in just a second. 386 caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name's Dale, and I'm calling from Florida.
Greetings, Dale. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I just called in. I was just...
Oh, okay.
I really just called in, so I'm not sure the topic that you guys are talking about. So.
Okay. Yeah. Just stay on the line then, and if you feel like contributing, feel free. We're discussing the emergency orders that are in effect around the Virginia state capitol. And so that brings up another point here that we're going to discuss, because I heard earlier in the week when they were discussing this gun ban that this would not only include the state capitol but adjacent buildings, and there are going to be street closures around the state capitol. So I can tell you that
Wow, Mark. But what gives them that right, though? What gives them that right to declare that state of emergency? I mean, how far do we have to be bending our knees? I mean, state of emergency is not unconstitutional at all.
Well, I mean, I think we've been through this. I agree. I mean, but what I'm saying is, how is the Patriot Act constitutional? How's the NDAA constitutional? It's not. It's the complete opposite. And so we just keep having these things. But what I'm saying is, as far as I'm concerned, we repudiate everything to do with this government because it's criminal, and its basis is usury and terroristic violence. So I reject that in every way. So in a way, this is not my fight. I mean, it's the eventual fight that we will have, but this isn't my thing. I mean, what we say is that all government officials are guilty of treason, and that all corporate officials are guilty of treason, and that things are about to go down in the United States, and what they need for the people of Virginia to be restricted in going out and demonstrating with guns. That is their ultimate goal, because things are going to heat up over the next year. I mean, I look at this gun ban as connected to the extension of the Putin administration in Russia, and it's connected to what's going on in Iraq and Iran with the unrest in both of those countries, and with the actions of the New York Federal Reserve Bank, which is being used to launder all the Iraqi oil money, and the people of Iraq live in poverty, and the owners of the New York Federal Reserve Bank are just squeezing every drop of blood out of all the Iraqi people. So let's go to a 540 caller. We'll get them up in just a second. Still on mute. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, there. Worked the second time. Hey, 540 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, Chris, this is Karen calling from Fredericksburg.
Greetings.
Just a couple days from the group. Hi, from the group time on Facebook. Not that that means much. You know, they're busting people in supposedly. So I'm thinking 30 to 50,000 people is what I was expecting. But what I really wanted to talk about was when, after Northam, the whole blackface KKK thing came out with the yearbook photo,
Right.
I went down to Richmond. There was a little impromptu protest, which, you know, I'm conservative, and I realized soon that the whole crowd were liberals, but that was neither here nor there. I met my friend down in Richmond, and the Capitol Police were, you know, telling everybody they couldn't stand on the governor's mansion grounds. And, you know, I adhered to that. So my friend came, he said, no, that's unconstitutional. I have every right to stand here. I'm addressing my grievances with the governor. And, you know, it's like he called everybody out. Said, come on, you don't have to stand along the sidelines. And, my friend had actually brought the loudspeaker and was playing over and over when Governor Northam was saying, you know, basically promoting infanticide, saying, you know, if once the baby is born, we'll basically make the baby comfortable and then have a discussion with the mother as to what we're going to do with the baby.
Yeah.
And they asked him to cut the loudspeaker off, so he did. And they went back and forth, and the officer kept, I mean, there was maybe 20 there was around. And eventually he said he kept showing him regulations and saying, well, you can't, this is you know, an organized blah, blah, blah. And he said, no, it's not. I live in Richmond and my friend has sent me down here. This is not. And he said, you know, we have every right to address our grievances, blah, blah, blah. Eventually they end up arresting my friend because he took the sign out of my hand because I wasn't going to get arrested. I just can't do it. And they ended up keeping him over the weekend, giving him an anal cavity search. You know, just put him through total hell.
Yeah.
And, you know, so if they do that over a little sign, imagine what is going to go down on Monday.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know it's disgusting what they do, and your friend is right, and I've done that down at the Capitol. These Capitol Police officers have known me for years, and sometimes they'll give me an order, and I'll say no, and they'll say, okay, well, we were just asking then, and sometimes they will, you know, say something, and I will say no, and that they will snatch me up and beat me down. So. They're very erratic, and yeah, I wouldn't trust to be, you know, surrounded by them, and whatever they have planned, because they have been planning for this. They haven't just planned for this; they set the whole thing up. Hey, we're getting lots of callers here, so stay on the line, Karen. We're gonna move on to 231. Oh, all right. Thanks a lot, Karen. Have a good night. All right, 231 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Michigan. Jim.
Oh, your name is Jim and you're calling from Michigan. Yeah, you're on the air on the Militia Intelligence Report.
Oh, I didn't know I was...
Oh, you don't, oh, okay. Sorry.
I just called in, so
Oh, no problem. No problem.
talking about that.
Okay, yeah, we're just talking about the emergency action gun ban at the Virginia State Capitol is what we're talking about. So, yeah, no problem. My apologies. Sometimes I think folks are calling in to say something when they're just calling in to listen. If you have anything to say, feel free to chime in. And we got everybody on mute now at this point. Follow us on Facebook, too. And I think David's running the boards. So if you want to...
Look, I just wanted to announce, I'll unmute callers if they could mute themselves because we were getting a lot of background noise.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah.
Especially from Karen because she was probably on the go. sounded like driving a car. But anyway, continue the show, Chris.
Okay.
I had to say that.
Okay, cool. All right. Cliff, you want to start talking about impeachment?
I invited a few people on. That's why I invited a few people.
Oh, yeah, much appreciated. So, yeah, if anybody's wishes to speak, then go ahead, or I guess just do a verbal signal, and I'll try to finish my thought, and then give the floor to whoever wishes to speak. Cliff, you want to talk about some issues with the impeachment and what's going on, and how this is, fitting together with the rest of this. I really did want to say that this, this stuff with shooting down, the accidental shooting down of a Ukrainian airliner amidst all the unrest in Iran with Russian surface-to-air missiles. It really just seems to be too perfect, especially with what's going on with this Khazarian mobster, Lev Parnas, and basically that's the goods on Trump. Now, folks will say, hey, this guy's untrustworthy and he's a career criminal. Well, that's true, and of course nobody associated with this particular front of the Chabad Lubavitch Mafia is not involved in organized crime. Cliff, are you there? We got okay. So yeah, where do you want to go with this impeachment stuff? Because I do want to touch on that, and maybe.
I wanted to get into the esoteric.
Okay, yeah, let's get into the esoteric about the impeachment. Because again, we
know it's 2020.
Yeah.
Shall I go?
Yeah, you shall go. Sorry.
So it's 2020, and Trump's trial began, or they started the circus again on the 16th day of the year. 16, when it's factored into its prime factors, is the power of 2, is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 22, 22 in 2020. And 16 is what's known as a karmic debt number. And if you, for those familiar with the tarot, the 16th card of the major arcana is the Tower. And the Tower, I often say 16 is represented with trauma and awakening. I want to read a little bit about karmic debt number 16 specifically, but I want to bring up not Joe's point, but one of the earlier callers about the Federal Reserve and how it's the 16th Amendment, the unlawful, abominable, satanic 16th Amendment, that essentially established the rules by which the Federal Reserve extorts money via the unlawful income tax. But I want to get into the meaning of 16 as a karmic debt number.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how it relates to Trump, because in Trump's core numbers, he has karmic debt number 16. And for personal folks, if those into the sort of divination stuff, if you have karmic debt number 16, the number 16/7, because 1 plus 6 is 7, represents the misuse of love in a previous manifestation. Some numerologists suggest that this karmic number also indicates that you will be challenged with leveling your ego in this lifetime. The 16 is a spiritual actualizer. You'll be presented with experience after experience where your life crumbles. You embrace humility and your sense of higher purpose, and you experience destruction and rebirth from a variety of vantage points throughout your life. I'll read a little bit more. If you have a 16/7 as one of your core numbers, understand this. You are now paying back for past abuses where you were involved in illicit love affairs, which result in suffering to others. The 16 is telling you that there has been a pretty hefty abuse of love through acts of self-centeredness, irresponsibility, and distortion of loving feelings. The message here is that you need to get your ego in check. And what's one thing that everyone, those who are not ignorant and those who are ignorant, say about Trump? Oh, he's an egomaniac. And for those who follow the most essential information as far as illicit love affairs, we know Trump is not only a serial cheater or has been divorced multiple times, he molests his own daughter. He's involved in mossad child rape networks with folks like Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell or Ghislaine Maxwell. And this whole impeachment thing is just a front and a circus to control the minds of the masses, as the enemy has to constantly maintain their mind control apparatus.
Absolutely. Hey, let's get into this. Speaking of Epstein, Donald Trump announced that he's put together his dream team, his dream legal team, and Alan Dershowitz and Ken Starr are on that list, and they are both closely associated, as is Trump himself, like as Clifford alluded to, all associated with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell running their child rape blackmail honeypot for the Mossad. And so it all goes back to this criminal network made up of Eastern European, Turkic Khazars. They also have a lot of Southern European blood in them, but what the average person might call Jews, and it comes back full circle everywhere around. And we mentioned last week Eileen Filler-Korn, who is the first Jew Speaker of the House, and that what the average person would call Jews are behind this huge gun grab against Americans. And this is all part of Agenda 21. And what was... I had the protocols, and I had found a section about gun control and the protocols. And I made a post, but it's been so long, it's probably going to be... let's see... Learned Elders of Zion, protocols of gun control, protocols. Let's see if we can find this because it's real important. Let's see. Oh, and it's so funny that when you look up gun control and protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, it sends you to this Virginia EDU site, and when you try to go to it, it is it's saying it's not available. Let's see if it's the same this time. But yeah, this is just, as Clifford said, this impeachment stuff. I used to be, back in 2008, I was really, between 2004 and 2008, I was really about the impeachment of George Bush and Dick Cheney. And then by the time 2008 was over, I knew that impeachment didn't mean anything, and that militia was really the only way to rationally take any sort of political action. Nothing else matters. But
Well, isn't the Trump doctrine and the end of the New World Order the American School of Foreign Policy, and it's not inherently the incremental policies of what Trump is really trying to impose? I mean, we look at Trump, and you said he's he's an adulterer, he's done all these bad things, but
yeah, I mean the adultery though, but that's not. Hold on.
He's a child rapist.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, because I mean, somebody can be an adulterer.
anything I can look up to verify that?
I mean, where you been? Like, there's some court cases. Hey, Cliff. Enough. So, I'm sorry. Like, I asked you a question. You asked me a question. I asked you a question. This is parliamentary procedure. I'm running this meeting. So, I'm very skeptical of someone who is unaware of Donald Trump and his association with the child rape ring that was being run out of Mar-a-Lago. Do you know who Virginia Roberts Geoffrey is?
Well, every time I answer, it sure cuts me off.
Listen, man, I'm asking you a question. I have the floor. Like you can use what. It doesn't matter. No. Don't mute him. Yeah. Go ahead and have a conversation, man. You're asked the question. Answer it. Unmute him. I told you not to.
I asked you a specific question and you came back at me. I wasn't even agreeing with you. You see, that's the heretic that's coming out of you. That's what I'm trying to get at. David, I asked you.
Hold on. No. Listen, man. Listen. What is your full name? What's your full name? Joe?
Joseph Gibson. My name is Joseph Gibson. I live here in Rockingham County, North Carolina.
Okay. So what? Who do you think you're talking to? Do you think you're talking to somebody like? Listen. You asked me a question. I think I'm talking to somebody who is not quite in his own depth, because what I'm saying is, if you need to be informed about Donald Trump's engagement and role. What about the Trump doctrine? There is no Trump doctrine. Trump is a puppet. Okay? He's a. All right, now. What is? Then. Cliff, what are you doing, man? No. Let me address this guy, Joe Gibson. I'm addressing you. I've got the floor. You don't seem to comprehend parliamentary procedure, and you are talking all over the place. What do you think is going on other than all the nations? Do you know, Joe, do you know how the Bank for International Settlements operates? Okay. So what's the top legal? No, because I don't think you do. What, you asked me about some sort of American doctrine? What is that? What are you even talking about? Nothing has changed since Trump. Since
No doctrine at all. You weren't listening.
you use the word doctrine. Stop, Cliff. No, stop, dude. Listen, man, and Cliff, you're gonna. Cliff, hey guys, seriously, I'm starting to get really annoyed at you guys. Let me talk. Don't mute Joe. I'm addressing this guy right now. I don't like how this is going. Are you with me, Joe? Can you hear me? Can he respond? Okay. So what is your point, man? What is your point?
My point of it was you were talking about Trump, okay, and you were making somewhat a correlation with a new world order agenda, and I just thought something popped up into my head, and I asked you about the Trump doctrine, okay, and the new world order and the American foreign policy, and how inherently incremental it was applying to us today. And you jumped all over it so I could finish that damn statement. That was the point. And then you know, it sounds like not a little more on your side now.
We don't have any sides, man. We don't have any sides.
Oh,
I don't know you.
all right, we're not on sides. I was just agreeing with what you were saying. I was just asking your opinion on something, that's all. And you attacked me. I mean, like, cool. It was insane.
Not insane. I mean, what's the point? And then you also, where it actually started into a disagreement was when you were questioning the validity of Trump being a child rapist and saying that he's a serial adulterer when there is a huge difference between the two things. And it seemed like, did you vote for Donald Trump, Joe?
No, I don't vote.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't vote either. So it sounds like, yes, you called the right place, and that you are following the right people. Then, if you are who you say you are, and you're following this, you're talking to your leaders now. Good. You've finally gotten to that point. So great. Hey, apologies for any misunderstanding, but hey, that's the way it goes. And you know, yeah, we are very we've got our radar up for any sort of misinformation. So yeah, apologies. We're in agreement, except for it seemed like, yeah. God bless. I mean, and so my apologies. I was incorrect. I incorrectly thought that you were glossing over what Donald Trump had obviously done by asking, questions about, hey, is that verified about Donald Trump raping children? There are court cases. There's pictures with him and his own daughter. There's him talking about how he likes young women. And of course, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump were both in the same business of preteen and teenage models. They both had modeling agencies based on each other's work, and they're all over the place. So yeah, with Alan Dershowitz's announcement today, I mean, they're just rubbing everything in everybody's face, and it is all over. This is about the gun grab. This is about this final stages of implementing the protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, which is not equal, it is exactly UN Agenda 21. What is the protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion? It's UN Agenda 21. What's UN Agenda 21? It's the modern day manifestation of the Learned Elders of Zion. If you look, if you look at both documents, it's the same thing. Gun grab, just moving everybody into urban centers, manipulation of the press, taking over of everyone's buying power and ability to work and make a living, and the ability, especially, which is important here in the United States, to keep their own property. Property meaning everything that we work for is our property, and we don't have any authority over that. And as Joe was saying, so I'll give Joe the big up for this one, these are all corporations. And all these corporations, Blog Talk Radio, Facebook, YouTube, LiveLeak, all of them, they've taken our property and they've monetized it, and we don't even get to control our own property enough to decide whether it even stays on or whether it's taken down. They'll put advertising on all over our stuff, and then they'll take it down. So they make money off of our work, and we have no right to any sort of money at all. So yeah, I mean, the system's done. It's over. The government's abolished. I'm very opposed to almost every element of what this January 20th, 2020 event that's going on in downtown Richmond is going to be, because to me, I'm not interested in lobbying anybody anymore for any reason. I don't care about any of this stuff. It's already done. It's finished. It's over with. Now, there's going to be a war. There's going to be military conflict here in the United States. How is that going to play out? I don't see it playing out well. When folks are saying that they're going to, boogaloo or whatever that is, what I see is mostly cops. I see these individuals, and there is no hope for our society as it stands right now. I don't know what else we can say, but right now.
Well, Chris, real quick, sorry to cut you off, but we do have a new caller. Maybe we can see what they have to say about this.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's 507 if you'd like me to.
Yeah, I've got.
507.
Yeah, 507 caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? They may just want to listen.
Oh, 507.
They may just be listening. Okay. Hey, 507 caller. Yeah. If you want to do more than listen, if you want to say something.
Better talked about and more.
And that's why I brought up earlier, with all due respect, that's why I brought up earlier, and I put that scenario of the devil's advocate there, is that this thing in Virginia, I didn't say we should or should not. What I said was, what if we called their bluff and we stood up and let them know?
Okay, let's delve deep into that. Let's delve deep into that, Joe, and I believe that is the most important question. And what I say is, if what we've been doing for these past years, and I've really been doing since 2008 when I met with Lieutenant Colonel Robert Bowman, who is the only person I've ever previously called commander. He's passed away at this point. He's passed on. And he told me, when we were both liberal members of the Democratic Party, not to waste my time anymore with that, and that we had to start forming militias, and we had to organize this nation, the body of the people, and that was the only hope. There was no other hope for the United States of America. This was 12 years ago now. So that at that point, it started becoming very clear to me that there was no hope. There was no hope for anything except for through the militia. And at that point, I really didn't know much about what the militia was, what the history. I knew it was like, yeah, it makes sense. They're going to come after you for speaking, and the Second Amendment's the only thing that protects all of your other rights. So I knew that concept at that point, but that's about all I knew. And so,
Can we get? I want to make a point with this.
Go ahead, Cliff, real quick.
Into the gun control propaganda of like the music industry and the hip hop culture, and how Eminem was shilling for gun control. So that's another thing. It's like a lot of people are brainwashed to literally give up that most important God-given right. So it's like, when you pose the question, what if we're saying do it. We're saying, yeah, that's great. Like, we're not saying, what if we posit this? We're saying that's the only hope. So that's what needs to be done. So don't say, what happens if we implement the solution? Then it gets
right. Well, yeah. I mean, I wrote a book, and basically it covers all of that. It's not a what if. It's what must be done if the law is ever going to be enforced. What must be done to restore the Constitution and restore people's God-given rights? What is the only hope to ever, in any event, overthrow tyranny and abolish lawfully a government? Basically, the problem doesn't lie within the ideas of what to do. The problem lies in that when a scenario is set up where the only real enforcement power that the people have is brought into the realm of reality, it is done by our enemies. That's what happens every time. So whenever the idea comes up is like, hey, everybody's going to show up at the state capitol and really, show up armed and really let these guys know who's boss. Okay, so what happens when that happens? Do we do it? Is it done smart? Is it done before they can you know make legislation that makes that illegal? Is it done at the most strategic time? No, it's all done the screwiest way. And basically, what I believe is going to happen on the 20th is that there's going to be a bunch of media and there's going to be a bunch of posers, and that's what I believe. And that there may be some crazy people that are associated with the government, and who knows what might happen. But what I'm saying is, we don't have a infrastructure at this point, through the failure of the entire population of America. We don't have a legitimate infrastructure to do anything to stand up to the government at this point, unfortunately. So, if no, right. We've already covered this a lot. Is that you, Karen? Right.
Karen's gone.
Who is that talking?
Oh, are you 507? Just so we can label you. Area code 507, Elizabeth?
I actually have a name. I'm not doing it right now. I'm not where I am right now.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, in any event, here's the issue. Okay. So, in Virginia, the militia is defined by, what is the militia? It's the entire body of the people, with the exception of government officials, or some translated. I've seen some folks quote as, except for a few government officials. So, this is the problem, that they're creating this narrative of that they're going to be constitutional sheriffs, and they're going to deputize people. The problem with that is that, yeah, folks will have the right to bear arms if they join the government. And I can tell you, these folks are not going to stand up against the government. I don't watch videos like this, but hold on. Let me speak real quick. Like, I don't, like, I'm explaining to you. Well, right, but then it wouldn't be about him standing up. It wouldn't be about him standing up for the people or for the Constitution. He doesn't need any people. If he's a sheriff, he can go out and make arrests when these guys are trying to enforce unlawful statutes. And he's not doing that, is he? Are you advocating for this deputizing thing? Are you advocating for this deputizing thing? I mean, I got it. I know what's going on. But Oh, okay. Okay, well, let me explain it to the people then. Because maybe they didn't think of this concept. Okay, so, oh, right. Well, okay. So, number one, these are ploys. These are ploys and tactics. And we don't need a sheriff to tell us that we have the right. And one doesn't need to be deputized to be able to carry a gun around. And I can tell you that this sheriff, he's not going to go arresting any government officials for anything. They're not going to do it. And so
But for the short system, for the short form of a republic to be reinhabited, you must have some sort of...
Cliff.
Oh, that's the silence against contrast. Chris, I say move these dudes, but that's just me. I'm a little heavy-handed.
Well, we're coming up on the end of the show. All right, we're coming up on the end of the show. Right. Okay. So we can stay on for an extra 15 minutes on Blog Talk at least. So what I'm saying is, like, if you guys are down, if you guys think, you know, signing up to be a Barney Fife is like the angle to play, you guys are you're really operating under a false pretext. You are playing the enemy's game.
What would you recommend we do?
No. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
That's a new world order thing. You know, what I'm saying is, you're an American,
And you're promoting it, right? Hold on a second now. Let me hear one. I haven't heard one for a while. Go ahead.
Okay, how many of you actually know what a sheriff is?
I mean, I know that. Well, hey, listen to me. Oh.
China of the Week, which is a tax collector.
Right.
You really want to be deputized by a tax collector?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was getting ready to answer by saying, like, I definitely know what a sheriff is because, like, you know, many of my ancestors were sheriffs going back to, you know, 2,000 years.
That's what we're saying. But what do you
So-
recommend to for an assembly of people to reestablish the republic? What would you recommend?
I wrote a book. I recommend everyone read my book. Yeah, I recommend everyone read my book and utilize proper military tactics in military situations and proper civilian tactics in civilian situations, and we go through all the different ways of doing that. And basically, this is what you see now with the Commonwealth of Virginia is the Commonwealth of Virginia reacting to my tactics in my books that I've been putting out there, my information for decades. I mean, these folks showing up at the state capitol, you know, with guns. I mean, that's old hat. We've been doing that for a long time here, and you know, if I trust people to.
That's the will of the people, but if that's the will of the people, brother.
But who's the people? And I'm not your brother. Listen. What is the people? What is the people? What is the people? I need to see DNA tests to decide whether somebody's one of the people, because they have to be related to the, you know, have a claim to the throne of England to be considered one of the people. That's the way it was written.
No.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It means.
Sorry, I disagree with that.
But you're wrong then.
You're incorrect.
Then you're incorrect. Then you're incorrect. Or you're unaware of what the people means. When defined in the Constitution.
Remember that. So you're telling me that the republic, as reinhabiting the republic into a de jure form of government, is not what our foundations were based upon?
The foundations are built upon English common law. This is a common law system. In order to have rights under the common law, the supreme rights, the ones who ordain the government, we the people, define people. It didn't mean that you were a white landowning male. It meant that you had a legitimate claim to the throne of England. Scotland included, Ireland included, and other you know, royal families. But that's what it meant. You were related to William the Conqueror and his descendants. That's what it means. That's when you're one of the people.
Again, my original question was,
So I answered your original question, unless it's a different one.
Can I finish without someone interrupting me?
No, I got you with your. I mean, but I answered your question.
I heard somebody talking about sheriff, and I looked it up. It is a elected officer in a county to keep peace. It doesn't have anything to do with pulling you over because you're uneasy. So,
Yeah, that's not true though. The sheriffs are just as treasonous as any other quote unquote law enforcement. But getting back to the point that we were just discussing, one has to be.
This is the point I want to make about nipping this in the bud and getting rid of these demons. It's because it wastes time with our thought process.
Right. Well. Okay. Okay.
So what is your spiritual understanding of the foundation of America? I'd like you to
Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on. All right. I don't like it when there's no order in this radio show. So one thing I want to make clear, Joe, is that I'm not interrogated. I'm the interrogator, not the interrogatee. So when we talk about things, we've established you're incorrect when you deny that it is based on English common law is the basis of everything. It's the basis of everything. You say de jure, you say it. None of that matters because this is based on English common law, and the top law, the top of the law of English common law is a system of nobility. And so I know it says, hey.
can I ask you one question then, please? What would your answer be to what is the Emancipation Proclamation for the American people then? What do we do for our due process of law, and how do we restore any type of order or lawful measures in America and our continent that we have here or born in?
Individually, I mean that's the only way it can be done because in my opinion, one can't rely on the body of the people. So when I say the body of the people, we'll break down these things where the cop that called up basically saying, oh well, yeah, there's constitutional blah 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 trials, and we started talking about maritime law, and we don't. 99% of the trials in the United States are unconstitutional on their base because they don't include a jury. And it's not just a jury of peers. What do they say? Oh, well, it's a jury. What's a jury made up of? Voters. What is peerage? Peerage has to do with genetics. Peerage has to do with genetics. So this is all based on genetics. This is why they freak out about misrepresenting white supremacism and all that other stuff. Because black people, they can have claims to be descendants of the kings of England as well. I see it all the time on
You're right. You're absolutely
right. So
you're absolutely right. But
I know.
Derives power directly or indirectly from the great body of the people. And
Right.
Administrated by who?
Right. But what we're saying is the government doesn't exist. Okay, so we've identified what it is. It's a criminal corporation. Because obviously everyone with Google knows that it is. They're registered corporations. The Virginia State Capitol Police, registered corporation. Governor of Virginia. So what's so what is your point? No. I definitely. Yeah, I think that's true. That is true. Habeas corpus. thrown out. The basis of the common law. Present the body. You know, which when you throw out habeas corpus, what do you replace it with? Corporate fiction or legal fiction. Okay, so of course, I mean I know what I'm talking about. Like yeah, yeah. Closing thoughts then, Cliff, and we're gonna close this.
The only thing I would say is, when you don't say you're going to give people a short leash, you're going to give them a short leash.
I mean, I believe Okay. Yeah. Okay, Cliff. I apologize. Any closing thoughts? Go ahead, and we're gonna close the show out.
I mean, there were many things I thought of, like the M&M gun control propaganda. I wanted to get to the media mind control and sort of dig into that a little bit, the esoteric things, but it feels as though it's been derailed by demons, and they're obviously demons, and I don't care what they say to me, they should not address me.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I agree. I know you, Cliff. I don't know these people.
I wish to rid their satanic influence out of this show, because the longer you let them go on, the more it degenerates. If you're trying to cater to people who don't get it, if you're trying to be accurate and clear, I understand that, but
I mean, that's what I am.
That's my critique.
Without liberty, law loses its nature and its name. It becomes oppression, sir, and that's what you're preaching.
No, it's not. It's actually not, Joe.
something we haven't talked about.
No, that's what he is. Yeah. Well,
No, I don't believe it is.
Demonic entity.
I'm not demonic, sir. My Lord is
Yes, you are. You lie, you deceive.
I'm not lying. Without
You
law,
spread
liberty, law
hatred.
loses its nature. Like I said, the Sarah becomes
I'm not referring to that, Joe. Don't be
I know.
foolish.
Well, don't call me a
Why do you
demon because
spread evil? What you are. I'm calling you what you are. And
Well,
it's sad
well,
that you've been on this show for so long.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
All right. Well, hey, I mean,
Stop carrying out the treason and repent. The demons on this call, repent. God bless. Peace, much love. Keep searching for truth.
I'll rebuke you tonight, but thank you. I'll pray for you, though.
all right. Well, hey, thanks, Cliff. All right. Well, hey, David. Final thoughts.
Hello. I think we need to take a...
Yeah. You don't have the floor. Sorry. Yeah. Final thoughts, David.
Sorry.
He's not here.
David, going once, going twice. Hey, well, yeah, we had an interesting show tonight. I'd like to thank all the callers who called in, and really, it's a sad state of affairs that we have.
Sorry,
Yeah. Go ahead, David. Final thoughts.
I was talking. Yeah, I was talking while I was muted. See, I sort of expected this tonight because of how close the 2020 event is that's coming up, and again, just like every event. Okay, do you remember right before our first 8-pack? Actually, our second 8-pack is treason. We had a lot of Facebook listeners, and it was mostly mostly less than pleasant callers. But I do have to say, even though we didn't get to all of our points that we would have liked to hit on, we did. I guess you could say we got enough out, because what really is there left to say? I mean,
there's not much.
I mean, every show we say it over and over again, and then we put our message out there to people, and we don't get the same exact in response. It's always resistance. It's always pushback, and instead of hey, everything that you have laid out in your book is that's the only way. None of that. Oh, Chris, what about these constitutional sheriffs? What about these constitutional sheriffs? They've already proven over and over again that they're okay. If these constitutional sheriffs don't say the militia is the only solution, and I must resign from my post and join that cause, then they're useless to us. I mean, I guess that was all I had to say. I could have said it
I
better,
think this is why the state of Virginia is in such turmoil, because you just don't understand spiritually, the Lord, and you don't understand the Constitution. I think that's why this is happening.
Hold on a second, man. Hey, listen here, Joe. Hey, listen, man. Hey, I'm gonna really have to put you in your place because you're way out of control. You have crossed.
Come on my show if you want, but I won't.
Why? I don't even know who you are, man. I don't know who you are, dude. This is not what this is all about.
Joseph Gibson, I told you 8 times already.
Right. Joseph Gibson. You right.
North Carolina.
Right. You could be Kirk Gibson. You could be Josh Gibson, Kirk Gibson. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't.
I'm really Joseph Gibson.
No, I mean, for what I'm saying, you could be fucking Captain Crunch, dude. Like, I'm saying, I don't know who you are.
But I'm not, though. But I'm not. But I'm
Right.
not Captain Crunch. I'm Joseph Gibson.
Right. But you have as much legitimacy to me. You have as much legitimacy to me as Captain Crunch, because I don't know you, and you've behaved badly. You've behaved poorly, and you're out of order. You're way out of order.
No, I'm in order.
No, you're out of order. How many times have we established that you're out of order? Hey, have you ever operated under Robert's Rules of Order? No.
I have not.
So you're out of order. How many do you know? I mean, David might say, how many times have we said tonight, we're operating under Robert's Rules of Orders? Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that, but you can't talk right now. We've got to maintain decorum and maintain...
No, I thought you were an open platform. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were a closed private
Right,
platform.
but I said it. Right, so you were out of order whether you knew you were or not.
I apologize, but I will pray for you, though. I will pray for you in Virginia, if this is what Virginia's militia...
And you're out of order. You're out of order again. Like, no, the militia is based on... No, you're not. You just admitted that you were out of order because you don't even know that you were supposed to operate under...
Your rules, but I'm in order as a human being.
I did not make up parliamentary procedure. It's a good way, it's the only way to have individuals not interrupt somebody else's meeting or a group of other people's meetings without being recognized. Everything operates under Robert's Rules of Order, or else it's chaos.
You gave me the floor. You told me that earlier. You gave me the floor and you did recognize me. So now you're a heretic and you're contradicting.
Oh my gosh, dude.
You said it yourself. Go back and listen to the archive.
I gave you the floor. It doesn't mean you have the floor for the rest of the show.
Thank you. Well, you didn't give me a time limit. You didn't say, Joe, you've got 2 minutes. Joe,
Right, you don't operate like, okay.
As long as you want. That's what you said when I first called in. That's what you said. First I said, I'll shut up and listen to what you have to say. And then you said, you jump in anytime you want. That's
Joe,
what
you are out of your mind, dude.
That's what you said.
You are out of your mind.
I'm not complaining, everybody. That's what you... Hey, come over to understanding the times in which we live today. I won't be that disrespectful to you if you want to have a real discussion.
Man, why would I waste my time on your show? You are a waste of time, dude.
Why would I waste my time? If you're the militia of Virginia, I'll tell you what, the people in Virginia are in trouble. That's why they're taking your gun. They're going to take everything else, too. Probably your money, your property, and everything
Man,
else.
you are a... Okay, so you're from New York, correct?
North Carolina.
No. You are not from North Carolina.
Rockingham, North Carolina.
You are not from Rockingham. Where are you from? You may reside. You may reside in North Carolina, but you're not from there. Where are you from? You're from New York.
I'm from here.
No, you're not.
I'm originally from up north. Okay.
Of course. You won't even say it. You won't even say where you're from because you know I'm correct.
You want to do that?
You are from New York.
I've been here for 8. Okay. I'm from.
So I hit a sore subject. So you had to lie about where you're from, and you had to parse words like a hypocrite. Like a hypocrite.
Now, North Carolina, that's where I'm from.
Yeah, but your voice betrays you. Your voice betrays you. Okay, your voice betrays you.
Look, brother, you're not going to try to insult me with those games because I tore apart your militia group tonight. Okay, I'm sorry. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But obviously, you don't have any type of just what?
I was just mocking your Yankee accent, and mocking you for pretending like that you're from North.
Probably your girlfriend would love it too. So but that we can go back and forth and talk.
I don't know. I mean, you sound like you're.
Or you want to fix America.
Look, man, you and I are on diametrically opposed sides, and so you and I are
Amen.
yeah. So you serve Satan, and we are attempting to restore God's law. You do. You are. You're a liar.
No, I don't.
You do. You do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yeah.
You don't represent. I don't see how you can represent the people as a militia group in Virginia. I just don't see how you can do that.
I represent myself. I represent myself. I don't represent anybody else. No. I'm the grand master of this show, and I am the commander of the militia.
Powerful demonic name, Grand Master. I don't see any Grand Masters in the Constitution that I fight for. Well, who's a Grand Master? What's that? What title of nobility do you have?
The Grand Master of this show. So, and the commander of the militia. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? I'm gonna show your ignorance one more time. Who's the commander of the militia? Who's the commander of the militia?
I don't know. You're claiming to be the commander.
No. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be me. It's like, who's the ultimate commander of the militia?
Or the militia.
No. Who's the ultimate commander of the militia?
Corporation, Congress is in charge of the militia, but according to the Constitution, the people are the militia. Any able.
But who? No. Who's in charge of the militia? Who's in charge of the militia? It's a simple question, and you're way off base. You don't even know how to comprehend it.
I don't know. How about that? I don't know.
You're right. You don't know.
Educate.
You don't know. You don't. But I already explained it to you.
Educate me. I want to hear it.
I will do this right now. I will explain it to you again, because I already explained it to you. So I gave you the answer, and you can't listen to the answer because you're too busy talking your nonsense. So when somebody educates you, you can't hear it because you're just talking about, well, the Congress under the Constitution, and then no. The commander of the militia has to do with one thing, and that is one's association with the legitimate bloodline of the King of England. It comes from the feared. It's most, I guess, popularly associated with King Alfred the Great. It has to do with our common law system.
Let me tell you something. We don't need no king or queen in America, and the answer to 1984 is 1776.
Man, you're a joker. Are you bad mouthing King Alfred the Great? Hey, let me hear you say something. Say that King Alfred the Great is Illuminati. There was no such thing as the Illuminati during King Alfred's time.
You sold your soul to the Pope and the Roman Vatican Church, so you know it. Okay? I've studied what you do.
You don't know anything, man.
Listen now, I studied you people like it. Listen, I told you, that's why you won't stand.
You're a demon. Hey. Okay. So you were baptized as a papist. I can tell by the way you talk, you were baptized as a papist. No, you were baptized. You were baptized. Your family. Yes, so I'm right again. I know what your ethnic background is, and I'm your king, no matter what your ethnic background.
You're my king.
Yeah.
There's only one king, and he's in heaven, okay? And when he
Well, you don't blaspheme yourself. Don't blaspheme yourself. No, hey, not my Pope. You're the one. You're the one that's a Catholic. I'm not. I don't have anything to do with the Papist Church. My. But you were baptized as a Catholic. You come from Catholic families. Oh, really? You just said you were, though. You were submerged. Yes, you understand. You understand because I give you standing. Let me tell you something, Joe Gibson. Hey, anytime you want to go, I mean, like, challenge me. You don't know anything about anything. You don't know anything about how this system works. You don't know that this is a religious meeting and that we explicitly repudiate every show, the Whore of Rome, and all of its associations. And we know what our ancestors did, and I don't think that our ancestors are the same. I don't think your ancestors are. I think you probably have some Khazarian ancestors. I think that you're probably ethnically partially Jewish. Have you had any 23andMe DNA? They're the synagogue of Satan. They're the synagogue of Satan. Right, and I'm 100% right on. No. It's not Zionist. It's folks that share ethnic bloodlines with you, and it's referred to in the Book of Revelations as the synagogue of Satan. That's what you serve. That's what you are, buddy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And yes, it is. No, everybody knows what I'm talking about, man. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Dude. Man, you study nothing. You're just a crackhead, dude. You're just a crackhead. That's what all you are. If you're not smoking crack, dude, if you're not smoking crack, then you have absolutely no reason to be sped up so much. All right. Well, I'll call back Joe off the air, or maybe I'll call him back after the show, and we'll keep him going in the overtime. So yeah, let's just Joe does sound like a Jew. Of course he is. I mean, look, all we have to do is just go back and I'm from North Carolina. You're certainly not from North Carolina. You're from New York. I'm not from New York. I'm from North Carolina. And then he won't even identify that he's from New York. He just says, I'm from up north. Okay. So he doesn't know about the English common law. He doesn't know about really anything. He denies that the synagogue of Satan and Jews and Zionists are behind any sort of nefarious activity. So this guy's an absolute chump, and that was a setup from the freaking beginning, man. And Cliff was right. And, you know, hey, we just have to show what these guys are all about. And, yeah, I mean, I don't want that guy praying for me. I don't want him praying to his demon god. I'm very confident in praying to my God, the creator of all things. But no thanks. I told that guy Joe I don't have anything to do with him, and I don't believe anything that guy says. So, yeah. Cliff says Synagogue of Satan blood runs through Joe's veins. Absolutely. Yeah. Racist. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the same old normal stuff. But anyway, yeah, these demons got it right. They we are in trouble here in Virginia, but hey, I'm removed from this. The government's already abolished, and you know, hey, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm gonna keep myself safe, and I'm gonna go out there and exercise my constitutional rights every day, in every way, and on the 20th as well. So, hey, stay tuned, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Sorry about that guy, Joe, and all the other cops that were calling during the show. And, hey, tomorrow's another day. So, enjoy the rest of your Friday, and have a great Saturday, and we'll be talking to you soon. All right, thanks everyone. Peace and God bless.